Alright guys, hello, Jackson here, and I'm back with another video finally after a really long break from Unreal Engine. Those of you guys who were following me would have noticed that I've been doing a lot of videos about Breath of the Wild lately. I released a couple of videos demonstrating some mechanics that I've built about the runes, and I had a couple of tutorials. And the plan was to go through and do tutorials for all the Breath of the Wild runes, which I still might do in the future, but the reason that I haven't been posting any videos lately is because I decided that I needed a bit of a break from Unreal Engine, just for personal reasons and me trying to look after my own personal well-being. I've been spending a little bit too much time on the computer lately, and doing a lot of strenuous work, like doing those tutorials and designing those mechanics. It was pretty hard, and I was feeling pretty drained, and I kind of burnt out, I guess, so I needed to take a bit of a break. But anyway, what I'm here to do today is, like I said, I'd like to finish those tutorials eventually, but I can't see myself doing that anywhere in the near future just because of the amount of energy and effort that it's going to take, and I want to devote that to some other projects. So instead of leaving you guys hanging though, I've already built all of the mechanics here in this project here, all of the runes, so the Magnesis rune, the Statis rune, the Cryonis rune, and the remote bombs. And what I figured I'd do for any of you guys who are interested in that tutorial series is I'll just give you this project so you can mine through it and have a look at all of the code and see how the mechanics work and see if you can replicate them in your own engines. I don't want any money for it or anything like that. I'll just give this to you guys to have a look at. And eventually, hopefully, I'll get around to doing the tutorials, but we'll see what happens with that sooner or later. So with that said, I might just show you how this project works. So this project, I'll put a link to this in the description, I guess. It might be like a Dropbox link or something, I'm not too sure just yet. This was a project that I used for a bunch of other tutorial videos as well. So it's got the Breath of the Wild stuff, but it's also got like weird blueprints like an elevator. What have we got? Flickering fire. Some other weird stuff. Like I did a whole series about platforming as well, so it's got some cool stuff. Like it's got some enemy blueprints, some different projectiles, some procedural generation stuff, some weird like abstract friggin' AI blueprints and stuff like that. Don't worry about any of that. Well, you can look at that if you're interested. That might be interesting for some of you guys if you want to if you wanted to see the project files for some of the tutorials that I've done. But you can see all that in other videos anyway. So I'll give you this file. Basically, to get to the Breath of the Wild content, in your content browser, go content, Breath of the Wild, and then you've got different folders for all the different actors and things like that. If you want the code for actually switching between the runes and firing the runes, that's in this character blueprint here called TPC link. So that's Breath of the Wild, then TPC link. If you crack that open, like I was saying, there's a bunch of other stuff which was related to other tutorials, so you can ignore that or have a look at that if that's something you're interested in. All the Breath of the Wild stuff is just here. So in the blue up there, and down in the orange, the stuff in the blue is dedicated to the actual widget switching between the runes, so you can switch to first person or whatever and activate and launch all the runes. That's all the controls for that there, and managing the switching. Then the different rune abilities are all down here in the orange. So here's the Cryonis ability, Stasis. There's a generic hit ability to replicate or simulate Link hitting stuff with swords or arrows. So for example, when you're using Stasis, you can use the Q button to hit the frozen object and then send it flying. Then we've got Magnesis and remote bombs down there. And these all look really simple, but don't be deceived because there is a lot of stuff going on under the hood. Like each of these functions is broken down. Each of these little bits here is broken down into lots of different functions. So that one's quite simple. It's been a while since I've looked at this, but like for spawning a Cryonis pillar, for example, it does a bunch of checks, spawns a thing. It's got a scaling thing. The Cryonis line trace, I think, was the complicated one. No, maybe it's not. I remember the Cryonis one being really complicated, and I can't remember what the logic for it is, but anyway, let's not worry too much about that. So everything, all the code that you're going to need is here, I believe. And there are a lot of functions related to each thing, which can be found down here. So here are all your functions for Cryonis, Stasis, Magnesis, remote bombs, and so on. There's some macros involved in each, and all the variables are down here as well. They're all kept separate for each ability. So I hope this helps you guys. Let me know while you're going through it if you have any questions about how any of this works, and I'll do my best to get back to you and give you a response. I'm sorry that I couldn't do the tutorials all in one hit. Like I said, I will try to get around to them eventually, but until then, hopefully this will hold you guys over and give you something to look at and play around with. So that's it. Like I said, let me know if you have any questions, guys, and I'll do my best to help you guys out. I'll be back soon with some other tutorials and some new content in the future. I'm just, trying to take it easy and not burn my brain out. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon with more.